Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be going over the Get Ready With Me portion of my Summer Beauty must-haves. So if you want to see how I got this look that is perfect for the summertime, it is going to be long wearing, perfect for daytime events or in the nighttime for an evening as well. I'm going to show you how to get that really beautiful skin-like effect that you can wear in the summertime where it doesn't really look like you are wearing anything on the skin. But I'm also going to show you how to incorporate those powder products so that you get a more maybe long wearing makeup that's more appropriate for the evening time. So if you want to see all my Summer Beauty must-haves in action, just keep watching. Let's get started. So I have already gone ahead and primed my eyes. I used the Rare Beauty, this tinted eye primer. I do mix it with a little bit of the Chanel, this is the Le Beige cream bronzer, just because that primer is a little bit too light for me. And I'm going to move on to the eyes. So as I mentioned, I like kind of a cream eyeshadow or something that's really easy to use in the spring and summertime. So as I mentioned in that video, I like to use really quick and easy to use products in the summertime. It's just my go-to look, even when it does come to an evening out. I just prefer working with cream shadows. I think they have a really effortless appearance to them when you're in person specifically, and they're just really easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Sisley. This is the Ombre Eclat Liquid Shadow in the shade Copper. Again, like I mentioned, if the price is a little bit too high on this one, you could go in with the Westman Atelier iPod in the shade Tabak. Also really love that. Or one of the Bobbi Brown eye crayons, like Golden Amber is one of my favorites as well. This will just have the Golden Amber from Bobbi Brown, will have more of a shimmer to it. Actually, before I go in with that liquid eyeshadow, I'm going to take an eye pencil. This is how I like to define my eyes. Instead of reaching for an eye palette, I can just go in with an eye pencil and then a cream eyeshadow over top. So I'm going to take this Hindash. This is the Eye Tone pencil in the shade Intra. It's kind of like a warm brown shade. It's really beautiful. So I'm just going to line the lashes really close to the lash line. I don't want to be like super messy because I want this to be a really soft line when I blend it out. This is an eye kohl pencil, so you don't have to worry about it setting down on you. It is going to blend out with ease because it is a smudgy kohl pencil. The benefit to that is that, again, you have ample time to work with it. But if you're looking for something that's like super duper long wearing, specifically in the waterline, this won't be that. It is a pencil that kind of moves about. Take this smudge brush from Wayne Goss and I'm going to blend out that eye pencil. You can also take a deep brown eyeshadow and you can use that to smudge out that pencil as well. If you did want something longer wearing, then I would go ahead and apply a little bit of eyeshadow to smudge out this color. That way the eyeshadow will kind of set down the eye kohl and you'll get a longer wearing product. But because I have dry eyes, products are all relatively long wearing on me. And I am blending it out because I want this to be a really soft line. I don't want it to be a super defining eyeliner. I want it to be smudged and soft because I like most of my makeup to look really soft. Now that that's blended out, I can go ahead and use this Sisley Ombre Eclat Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Copper. So I am going to take just a little bit on my hand, and I'm going to work with it that way. You can apply it directly onto the eye as well. I just prefer to work with liquid products this way. And I'm going to take this blending brush and apply it all over my eyelid. I actually want a little bit more color payoff, so I am going to work just directly from this applicator and apply it onto my eye. And then I am going to blend it out from here. This product is so easy to apply and blend, and it is for a liquid eyeshadow. It doesn't have like a bunch of shimmer particles that look glittery or anything like that. It's a very sophisticated sheen. It's very subtle and beautiful, so it just will really enhance your beauty. And then I'm going to take this Chantecaille Sunbeam Cheek and Eye shade in the shade Ray. This is just my go-to summertime shade, and I did check and it is still in stock, so I'm taking that just on the other side of this brush, and I'm just patting this all over the lid. This is such a beautiful shimmery eyeshadow. Now, it's not shimmery that it has glitter flecks or anything like that, but it does have a very beautiful sheen. It adds that glossy effect to the lids. And it is a little bit brighter than that Sisley eyeshadow that I applied, so it's going to add some brightness to the eyes and a little bit more of a sheen. And I just think this is so gorgeous. If you want that glossy lid effect that is so sophisticated in the summertime, again, gives you that really easy look. This is a go-to product, and I love that you can wear it on the cheeks and eyes. And for the mascara, I'm going to go in with a coat of the Chanel La Base mascara, which is basically just a mascara primer, and I'm going to go in with 2 coats of the YSL Lash Clash mascara in the shade Brown, because I think the brown mascara pairs really beautifully in the summertime. I have just been loving this Saie. This is the Glowy Super Gel in the shade Starglow. I love it, and I think it is perfect for the summertime because of how thin the texture it is, and I just think it really blends into the skin. If you're someone with oily skin, this would be a really good primer because it does dry down, and I don't think it's too glowy, where some of those glowy primers are just too much for oily skin. But I don't have oily skin, so I can't really confirm that for 100% fact, but I like to just apply it on the high points of the face, down the nose. I like to go on the cheekbones, above the brow. Sometimes I'll bring it like in the middle of the chin, but I don't want to apply it in any areas where I might get a little bit oily, especially in the summertime. So I tend to just apply this on the high points of the face. And then I'm going to move on. I'm doing this in a little bit of a different order. If you've seen my, the technique you need to try for, I think it was flawless and natural skin, I'm kind of doing this technique, but I'm going to use an even more sheer bronzer, almost like I'm kind of applying this as a primer-ish, but I'm actually just going to use it as a bronzer. So this is the Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint. This is my favorite kind of cream bronzer currently. So with this product, with my clean hands, I do like to apply just a little bit to the palm of my hand here. And I will go in with a clean brush. This is an IT Cosmetics number 7 brush. And I'm just going to take that product and apply it all over the brush. And I like to get that excess product really, I like to get it kind of, all the product distributed into the bristles so that when I go in with product, I'm not going to have too much in one area. So I'm first going to apply this as a bronzer. And as you can tell, I have not applied any concealer or any foundation. So I am working with this on the skin first before I go and apply foundation over top. And I like to do this because it just makes everything look really soft. So I'm not going to have any harsh lines when I go in with foundation over top, because foundation is just going to blend this into the skin even more. And then because this does have some perfecting properties to it, I'm actually going to require less foundation over top. So this just leads to an even more natural look. So I'm just taking it on the areas I bronze up typically, which is the tops of my cheekbones. You can tell I'm not contouring and sculpting the face because this is a warm tone bronze. So you want to be careful of that. I apply it to the tops of my forehead, and I like to go over top the nose because that's where I typically get sun-kissed first, is my nose. And also because this does have a perfecting property to it, I'm basically going to apply no foundation on my nose. I'm just going to have this product there. So of course, because I don't have concealer or foundation on, it's not going to look as good as it will once those products are on. But you can just see it gives my face a little bit of definition. And I just feel like when I use this underneath my foundation, I don't require as much product over top. So for my concealer in the summertime, I do like to go, I don't really think there's like a summertime concealer. That's the one thing I would probably keep the same throughout the fall and winter time. But when I do like to go more light-handed, especially when it's a really hot day, I will use my Chanel Water Fresh Complexion Touch. Just because the texture of this is so thin, it is a water-based product, and it just always looks so flattering. So I like to pump a little bit of this Water Fresh Complexion Touch in the shade B30. And I do actually like to use the brush that it came with because it's really great for getting under the eyes. I like to, again, get that product distributed onto the brush so that all that product is in the bristles. And again, I'm not going to go in with too much product in one area. And then I just like to go underneath the eye, right where I am dark, again with my concealer, and especially in the summertime when I'm outdoors more and when you're next to people, you want your skin to still look like skin and look natural, but you want to look, you know, just a little bit more enhanced, but you still want your skin to look like skin. And you don't want too much product sitting on your face because, again, when it's hot outside, you're going to feel that foundation more. And I just hate the feeling of having a bunch of heavy makeup on in the summertime. I want things to look light and fresh and a little bit more natural. So again, I like to go on this outer corner here, kind of in this uplifted effect, so that my eyes look a little bit more lifted. I feel like even with just that concealer on, you can see how much better the skin is already looking. And for foundation, again, I like lightweight foundations. And this Sisley Phyto-Touche Nude, it's just been my favorite foundation for this hot weather lately. So this is the shade 2W1. This is, again, a water-based foundation, so it's going to pair really well with that Chanel Water Fresh Complexion Touch and the Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint. And you have to give it a good shake with water-based products. This is quite a liquidy product. And again, I like to distribute it to the palm of my hand. I just take a little bit of product there. And for water-based products, I do prefer to use a brush versus a sponge. So I'm going to take my Shiseido, I forget the name of this, but I will list it down below. It's just a foundation brush. And I like to pick up that product on this brush here. And then I will just go on the face. Now, because I applied that bronzer to my face, I'm going to kind of avoid applying the foundation in that area because I basically don't want to apply any product where I've applied that cream bronzer. And so I'm just going to go over the chin and the bottom of my cheeks. I am going to run over the forehead. With this brush, it's a little harder to get over my eyebrows, so I'm just going to be a little more precise. And yeah, kind of then take the excess product over top of my cheeks, just very lightly with the remnants of that foundation. And this looks super lightweight. This foundation is so incredibly blurring. If you're looking for a really light, a sheer to light coverage foundation that is ultra blurring on your skin, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous foundation. It is a little bit more blurring than the Chanel Water Fresh Tint. And I find the longevity is just a little bit better with this Sisley one. The Water Fresh Tint is really great as well. It fades away very naturally. It doesn't ever like crease or look greasy or anything. But the Sisley one is just a little bit more long wearing and a little bit more pore blurring. It looks a little bit more perfecting. I think it has a bit more coverage than the Chanel as well. But it still looks like skin. You cannot see product sitting on my face, but it gives this beautiful soft focus blurred effect, which I adore. I'm almost out of this as well, so I do have to get it back up. But I don't know if you can tell, the complexion looks really soft, and where I've applied that bronzer, I still have a little bit of definition, but it's not too much, and everything just looks soft and very natural on the skin. In the summertime, when it comes to a highlight, I either will work with powder products that look very natural on the skin, that give a very skin-like, kind of glossy effect. So in that case, I would reach for something like the Chantecaille Sunbeam Cheek and Eye Shade. But another option is using a liquid highlighter, but a liquid illuminator that will set down. So this is the Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Illuminator. This is the liquid Lumière in the shade Brilliance. This is a sheer highlighting fluid that can be worn alone or mixed with foundation or skincare. Now, I really like this product because it is the type of liquid product that sets down. So because of this, I don't recommend it for beginners because once it sets down, you will not be able to blend it. I do like to apply a little bit to the back of my hand. Again, I find this the easiest way to work with these sort of products. I will I'll kind of blend it out onto the back of my hand to get it evenly distributed again, even though I am just using my fingertip. And with a very small amount of product, this is an intense highlighter, even though it does kind of meld into the skin. So because of that, you want to work with just a little bit of product, and I'm going to tap that on the tops of the cheekbones. Again, it does dry down fast, so you do have to work with it relatively quickly. But when you blend it onto the skin, it gives you a very glossy look. It looks like your cheekbones are just glowing, so I do really like that. But it can just be a little bit more finicky to work with, so I do want to make that very clear. But I am just tapping on the cheekbones, and it's gorgeous. And then I'll take a little bit, again, down the center of my nose to add a little bit of a glossy effect there. And then with that excess product, because it is starting to dry on the back of my hand, I'm going to tap it above the arch of my eyebrow, because I like to add a little bit of a highlight effect there as well. Of course, you could add this type of product anywhere where you like to look glowy. So I just like my face to look glowy in specific areas. And then from here, I do like to apply highlighter before I apply blush, just because I feel like it looks better when it's blended onto the skin in that way. I'm going to, again, take the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Blush. Again, this is water-based, so it's going to pair really well with all the complexion products that I've used thus far. This is in the shade Intense Coral. Again, this is a bit of a finicky product to work with, so I like to distribute a little bit onto the back of my hand. This is another type of product that once it dries down onto the skin, it is not moving. So this is a great creamy product to use in the summertime because it's not going to move. Once it sets down onto your skin, it's going to remain there all day long. With a lot of cream products, you're going to see them fade after about 4 or 5 hours. Not with this product. It's going to be there all day long. It's going to wear very great in hot and humid weather. I'm going to take it on this little brush here. I applied way too much on the back of my hand, so I'm going to be really careful with how I'm picking up this product. So I'm picking up just a little bit of that product, getting it really distributed onto this brush. I'm getting that product really pressed in here, and then I'm going to take the excess off on the palm of my hand, and then I'm going to work onto the skin. You can go in with more product, but it's better to start with the least amount of product, and then you can go in with more afterwards. But this is such a beautiful blush because it melds into the skin. It does not look like you're wearing a blush. It looks very skin-like, so if you're looking for the most natural-looking makeup, these products are going to be amazing, and they wear really well in the hot weather, which I absolutely love as well, because I want my makeup to look good all day long, not just for a few hours in the summertime. And I think cream products, they do lend themselves very beautifully in the summertime because they do look more natural. But these products specifically will also wear a really good amount of time instead of just fading away like lots of cream products do. So I just really recommend all these. I'm applying the blush a little bit higher up too because I want that really youthful effect. This is going to give like a skin brightening effect, almost like my skin looks a little sunburned. This is the kind of shade that my cheeks usually go, so this is kind of the perfect no makeup shade for me. I am softening the edges with a damp beauty blender just to make sure everything is really pressed and seamless into the skin. Now, in the summertime, I do think it's important to set my under eyes with a little bit of powder, but you want to use a powder that's extremely finely milled so that you won't detect that powder on your under eyes. A lot of powders on the market are created in a way where they are insanely finely milled, where you're not going to be able to detect them. So my favorite for that purpose is the Rodial Glass Powder. This is the loose setting powder, gorgeous under the eye. It doesn't add any texture or anything, but I do like to be careful with how I apply it. So I apply a little bit with my damp beauty blender sponge and get all that excess product off the sponge so that basically the powder is really pressed into this sponge, which I've explained with all the other products that I've mentioned as well. First, make sure all the creases are tapped out on your under eye, and then set your under eyes with that powder. But I do not bring the powder up to my lash line, like outside of my eye where there's a lot of little fine lines there, because then the powder will just sit in that area. So I like to apply the powder basically where I'm darkest, so I'm not going up close to the lash line. You could easily leave the makeup here and just powder the center of your face with a little bit of powder. But because I mentioned some powder products, again, depending what type of event you're doing in the summertime, I think it's appropriate to either use creams and liquids, or you may want to stick with more powders. Especially if you want that more longevity purpose, then powders are going to serve you a little bit better because they do tend to last a little bit longer on the skin. But if you're looking for that real skin-like effect in the summertime, then that is when I would only use those cream products. So you could leave the look here for like an everyday sort of occasion when you just want to look very skin-like. But I do want to showcase the powder products that I mentioned as well. So the first product is the Sisley Sunglow Bronzing Gel to Powder. This is just the perfect summer bronzer. I can't get enough of it. I am going to use a Rephr 22 brush. You do need a dense brush to pick up this bronzer because it is very hard pressed into this pan, and because it is a baked gelée powder. With baked gelées, because they are baked, you do just require a more dense brush because they are just harder to pick up. And then I will go ahead and just apply this onto the skin. This bronzer is a very beautiful warm tone, and it does have a lovely sheen to it. So it's going to leave your skin. It does provide a little bit of a sheen, but there's nothing shimmery to this bronzer. Like, you're not going to see shimmer particles on the skin. And honestly, this is the sort of bronzer that applies and looks like a cream bronzer because this is a baked jelly powder. So basically, it's a powder to cream product. It applies like a powder bronzer would. So you get that ease of application of a powder, but it melts into the skin like a cream product. So it doesn't sit on top of the skin. It just gives you the most beautiful natural glow. Can't recommend this bronzer enough. I think I tend to use it more in the summertime because of that really gorgeous glow that it has running throughout it, and because it is a little bit more of a warmer tone as well. I'm also going to take this bronzer and I'm going to run this underneath the lower lash line just so I have a more kind of monochrome look going on. It's going to tie everything together beautifully. I feel like the highlight is good where it is. I don't want to apply any more of this Chantecaille Sunbeam Cheek and Eye shade. Otherwise, I think it will just be too much. But for the cheeks, I am going to go in over top with a little bit of this Valentino blush. You know what? I might actually use the shade. This is number 08, or it's just number 8. It's Roman Sky. It's this beautiful coral shade. I think that will actually pair nicely with this look. So I'm just going to take literally one dab in here, tap off that excess product. I feel like a coral is appropriate for the summertime. And I'm just going to press it onto the cheeks just to add a little bit more color to this look. And I did go ahead and I tight-lined with the Hourglass Voye Waterproof Gel Eyeliner in the shade Cave, which is a brown. And then I added a little bit of that YSL mascara to the bottom lashes as well. So I think with the cheeks done, that is perfect. For the lips, again, I like something super easy breezy. So I'm going to take the Chantecaille Lip Chic in the shade Patience. This is something I can just apply and throw in my bag. It looks flattering. It's a very beautiful pinky nude. I feel like it might be a little bit too nude on its own, so I'm going to go over top with this NARS Afterglow Lip Balm in the shade Fast Lane. I love this formula. It's like more melty into the lips. So that is like my perfect shade. And finally for the powder, I'm going to take this Clé de Peau Refining Press Powder. This is my favorite powder in the summertime because it blurs the skin and it adds literally no texture onto your skin. It is just going to blur those pores. It's going to soften the glow so that obviously you look matte in specific areas, but this looks very skin-like. It's not going to add that powderiness to the skin, and it is perfect. So that is it for the Get Ready With Me portion of my Summer Beauty must-haves. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your Summer Beauty must-haves down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.